home, or are you just about to sell this buyer something and they're going to have negative equity in it when they move into it because all of a sudden two houses around the corner that are pending sold for less. So you have to stay in tune with what's going on in the market. I think that type of education, that type of having your feet in the trenches is more important because it allows you to apply necessary day-to-day things in your business that are going to help your consumer.
So where do you find your greatest level of education coming from these days? Is it the day-to-day and listening to your clients?
That's always the top way. Then, you know what? I also believe that you have to surround yourself and network with other professionals that are as engulfed and ingrained in their business as you are. Because then if you're networking and communicating with your peers, and I'm talking about your peers that are really ingrained in the market. I'm not talking about, and please, no offense to the person that sells a house every 6 months or anything like that. No offense to that person because that might be what all they need to do for their family. I'm talking about that person that's out there every day like I am, that is doing this maybe at a level that's maybe a tad bit higher than some other people, and you can get a good gauge of what's going on networking in that time, in that manner. Also, if you're on the internet and you're on certain social media groups and platforms and things like that, and you're not on there just for the hype, the news, the media doom and gloom, if you're on there to get real information, you can really get some good information and understanding the direction where things are going. And that is important to me. And that's another way that I'm able to ascertain information. And I'm one of those people that processes my own information. And what I mean by that is just because somebody tells me it's so, doesn't mean that it's so. So I'm going to do my own additional, not only research, but, I'm an eye test guy. I'm a common sense type of a guy. My dad always told me to break things down to its least common denominator. So I'm not trying to overcomplicate some of this stuff, and I'm not trying to make it brain surgery. But I trust my eyes, I trust my gut, and I will. I'm involved enough to whereas I can listen to some information, take it, and then I can hopefully decipher that to what is best for my clients and what it really means for me, my business, and in my local market.
What are some resources that you found on the web that you found to be, I guess the term, as neutral as possible?
Well, you know what? Another plug is I actually like Inman News as far as from a real estate perspective. I think that you can get some good articles and you can get some good gauges on different things. And I'm not talking about the articles where they're just trying to sell you stuff. I'm talking about actual information articles. I actually like Housing Wire, Lee. I think from Housing Wire, I've gotten some very good information, and I felt fairly neutral. Fairly neutral. A lot of the stuff again with that becomes more of a national level, and then you can kind of break that down into your own situation. Then you know what, CAR and NAR come out with different statistical information and stuff where you can follow some trends and look at some things that are going on as well. And I find that to be credible, except when they get on a real estate political agenda, but I think that the other information outside of that stuff can be very credible and is good as well. So I like those things and get a lot of information from that. Obviously, I'm with Keller Williams, so there are different things within that I feel within the Keller Williams company that are educational and are good tips to follow. I mean, hell, there's 130,000 agents now. Should be able to get something from somebody, right?
Yeah. Well, you were talking about coming back from the MLS today. What's discussed on the local level?
I went to. I'm part of a group that's called the Advisory Network, and we had a unique thing happen out here with our MLS a few years back, where they stopped when the market had been more of a challenge. The MLS meetings and all that just stopped, which was crazy. I mean, there was no MLS meeting. So they're one of your more aggressive title representatives put together a networking group, and you kind of have to be invited and blah 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 and all that. Well, there's 350 of us now, so the beginning part of the meeting, like anything else, is your networking as far as listings and sales. You have that part of it, but the majority of it then is just information on topics that are going on in local market. We've got a lot of new construction going on now, so there's a lot of talk about that. We have a lot of Mellorews and things like that out here in the Santa Clarita Valley. So different things with some of that stuff is discussed. There's a lot of new building going on toward the 126 freeway out this way and a planned community. So, a lot of that. And Santa Clarita, is known for its quote unquote low crime statistics and good school districts. So a lot of information with that is also discussed so that you can kind of keep, again, from a local standpoint, your consumers in your consumers educated. And I also like the fact, to be honest, that we only meet twice a month. We meet the second Tuesday of every month versus some of the old days of the MLS, and you come every Friday or whatever it was. And back, forever, the MLS meetings were more of an affiliate parade around, try to meet realtors and get deals, where this is actually much more of what a real network should be. Yes, there are affiliates there, but it's more of a network. It's not a parade and let's go party, although they do party. It's a real estate group. But it's in my opinion, there's much more meat and potatoes to this group and to what topics and things like that are brought to the table.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, you know what, too? I dropped out of a network I had been in for like 10 years not too long ago, and a great network and some great people in it. But I felt that it becoming stale. And with the amount of time that we have and don't have, one of the last things that you in my opinion, you want to be somewhere where everything is more progressively thinking. And the network that I was in was a very established network with some great people and some great agents and that. But I also felt that it was stuck. It was stuck with more of an old school type of a feel. Nothing wrong with old school, because hell, I'm old. But I want to be more progressive with my thoughts, with my business, and the value adds that I can add to my buyers and my sellers and my team. And I didn't feel I was getting that there, versus this other network is much different, and they're much more technology based and much more social media based. And I think that the values and some of the things with that and that networking help my clients and help what I can bring to my clients better than the previous network that I was in for a lot of years. So, and it's a good network, but I believe that, it's one of those things where, how it is, Lee, if you're not moving forward, if you're not being progressive, then you're really falling back. And sometimes you don't know you're slipping, but all of a sudden you look up and you're at the end of the race, and you're in the back of the line. And that's kind of where that's what I felt was happening for me in that particular group compared to the one that I just came from now.
Well, I'm a firm believer that there's always someone who knows more than you on any particular subject, and they're always of benefit to listen to what they have to say and not being closed-minded to it. And that's a tough lesson for me. Do you still have mentors that you look to? I know you're a mentor to many.
Yes, I do, and it's interesting that you said that, because I'm actually right now interviewing coaches, because I'm personally going to get back into some coaching, and I haven't decided what route that I want to go with it yet. So I'm actually interviewing some, because one of my 2016 goals is to get into get back into coaching. I was not coached on a regular basis, barely the last couple of years. And as you say, I've mentored and coached other people, and I've been in masterminds and that sort of stuff. But I'm actually going to, get in, and I'm looking at different avenues because I'm trying to decide what direction I want to go, with that. From whether it's a Buffini type of a deal or if it's a KW type of deal, which it probably won't be. I probably shouldn't say that on the air. But for what I need is and the type of coaching I'm looking for, where I'm looking to progress. I'm not looking to. I don't need. We all need accountability, but I'm far beyond someone telling me that I need to make 25 calls a day, blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a place for that, and I did that for a lot of years. But I'm at that point in my career and more importantly in my life that I'm looking for something different with the coaching that I get. And I don't want to say that I'm looking more for life coaching because I don't know how much I have trouble being a life coach or calling myself a life coach because I don't know how much I honestly personally believe in that. But I am looking for certain coaching that will help me get to a whole nother level, not just business-wise, but definitely efficiently, and it'll keep me on the edge of where I see the world going as far as in the world of business. It's amazing from the first time that I started in the business, the leaps and bounds that technology has done in my business and I guess in the world, particularly like the last 10, 15 years, is amazing. It's amazing to think what this business was when I first started. And it's amazing in looking at where it's going. And for me, for a coach, I need someone that, because I'm not a follower. I listen, I take it in, but I'm not. If Jim Jones couldn't have got me to drink the Kool-Aid and put on black tennis shoes and laid there and die, I'd have been the guy that was running that they found a bullet in trying to get to the train. So I don't just necessarily take that. So in a coach, I need to find that fit, but that is definitely on my to-do list, or I should say my success list, and I plan to hire someone before January.
Well, excellent. So you're still of the opinion that if you stop learning, you've basically given up on your career path.
Oh, absolutely. You think about it, the best athletes in the world, from, I don't care if it's your Kobe, your LeBron, your whomever in basketball, your Tiger Woods, your Phil, whoever in golf, and your CEOs that are of top companies, everyone has a coach. And in most cases, the coach is not better at application than the person that they are coaching. But everyone needs a coach, and some of the greatest minds and or greatest athletes in the world have multiple coaches. So for you to think that you are at a talent level that you do not need a coach, that's not realistic. It's very short-minded and closed-minded thinking. So I know that I need a coach, but I also know that I am at that point to where I don't just need a coach, I need the right coach. And that's where I'm at with that right now.
So how can people get a hold of you if they want to talk? If you're a realtor or somebody in the industry, how can they get a hold of you? And if you're a homeowner who would like to talk to somebody who's continually educating himself, how can they get a hold of you?
I can be reached on my direct line at 661-290-3781. And please follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of that stuff, YouTube. We're putting together some new, I've got over like 200 YouTube videos that I've done over the last few years, and we're putting in a whole new how-to series, how to do certain things when it comes to real estate, things like that.